Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Kardec Radio and welcome to Prayer for Peace. We are here gathered, dear friends, to read a message, to reflect, and to pray. To pray for one another, to pray for our loved ones, to pray for our whole communities, our whole planet. Prayer is so important. We have this tool at our fingerprint, at right here. We don't need anything externally. All we need is an open heart. We don't need to pray at a specific environment. We don't need to pray at the presence of a specific person. As for many millennia, we believed so, right? In other religious beliefs, we don't need anyone specifically to pray in our behalf. We are the ones that have this tool at our hands to use it for the good. But a lot of people say, I don't know how to pray. Well, that's why we're here, so we can learn together. It's important if we stop for a few minutes to reflect, to meditate. It's always good to have good books right next to us. Books like the one we're going to read today, Living Spring. Short message that as we read, we start to raise our vibrations, right? It's so hard sometimes to leave the day-to-day activities on the side and truly make this connection. So that's why we read a message first. And you can get any book. There's so many books, spiritist books, other inspirational books. You can read a short message, sometimes a paragraph, a sentence that will help us aim higher, connect higher. And that's why we do that. Start with the message and then we go to our prayer. So today is all about doing the good. Yes, it's message number 137, as we mentioned, from the book Living Spring, psychographed by Chico Xavier by the Spirit Emmanuel. The title of the message is Let Us Attend to the Good. Emmanuel starts by quoting Jesus in Matthew chapter 25, verses 40. In truth, I say to you that as often as you did it to one of the least of these my brothers, you did it to me. And then Emmanuel explains to us, not only with words, which are like glistening leaves on a fruitless branch, not only with the act of believing, which is often nothing but idle ecstasy, not only with authority, which on many occasions can lead to abuse, not only with affirmations of faith, because in many cases, sonorous utterances are the cries of an empty soul. Let us not forget doing. Our connection with Christ, our communion with the divine light, does not depend on how we interpret revelations from heaven. In every circumstance in his ministry of love, Jesus sought to call people's attention not to the form of religious thought, but to human goodness. The good news does not promise the peace of the higher life to those who scrape their knees from making incomprehensible penances, to those who speculate on the nature of God, to those who argue about things of heaven, or to those who merely preach the eternal truths. It exalts the sublime position of all those who disseminate love in the name of the All-Merciful. Jesus does not compromise himself with those who make war in his name, with those who humiliate humiliate others under the pretext of glorifying him, or with those who offended him, opulent worship in churches made of stone and gold. Rather, Jesus says that the smallest gesture of goodness done in his name will always be seen in heaven as an offering of love addressed to him. Friends, tonight Emmanuel brings us an important reminder. It's not about this external acts. We pray, we repeat words, we quote unquote punish ourselves, we do penances, we read and we preach, but at the end of the day, we lack the most important, which is the feeling, the sentiment. Yes, are we putting goodness in what we do? Because Emmanuel doesn't sugarcoat for us. He says Jesus not gonna be with those who preach in his name, right? Just empty words. Those who spend time speculating by the nature of God, those that exalt him, those that argue about the things of heaven. He's not going to be with those who use his name to humiliate others, to do wars, right? To start wars in his names. And also for those who preach his words in churches of stone and gold. He's saying the most important thing for Jesus is the smallest gestures of goodness. Wow. Friends, this is revolutionary. For many reincarnations, we probably come from spiritual beliefs that we need to do certain things externally to be with Jesus. But Spiritism comes, has the light of the truth, and it removes this veil from our eyes so we can see. It's not about anything externally. It's not what we do, but how we do it. And it's in the smallest gestures of goodness. That's where Jesus is, and that's what he taught us. If we study Jesus' life, we'll see he was so humble. He incarnated on earth. He was born in a manger. He wasn't born with rich parents. He didn't build a temple. He didn't even have a home. He lived with friends. He spent most of his time towards the last years of his life at Simon Peter's home. But he came and he shows to us he never went to Caesar's door and knocked and proclaimed that he was the Messiah. No, but he did the small gestures of goodness when he healed the paralytic, the leopard, the woman that was bleeding for over 12 years. It was in this one-on-one with people. So we don't need to do any grandeur gesture to be with Jesus. And the small gestures, it starts in our closest circles, within our homes, our family members, those close to us, our colleagues at work. But what do we do instead? We disregard the family member who comes asking for help or who says that they are going through a challenging time. We look at the colleagues at work not as children of God, as brothers and sisters of ours, but we look at them as competition, as someone that we need to be better than, or that they are, trying to get in our position. We go out on the streets, instead of looking at people that we encounter as brothers and sisters, extending a hand. We are always skeptical. If people are asking for money, we look at them and we say, not sure. They don't look that they need that much. Look at their shoes, look at their purse, look at their clothes. And friends, we missed the biggest opportunities. We don't need to build a hospital or a school to be with Jesus, but is in the smallest gestures. And that's great. This is wonderful news for us. Jesus is not waiting for grandeur gestures. He's waiting for us to do the smallest gestures of goodness in His name. Because, as Emmanuel says, those who do this will always be seen in heaven as an offering of love addressed directly to Jesus. So, friends, as we prepare ourselves to our prayer tonight, let us do an exercise. In the next week, let us truly have our eyes open for the smallest gestures of goodness that we can do in our lives. Yes, it's very noble to go to the shelter, to go to help the homeless on the street. But if we're not performing the smallest gestures in our day-to-day activity, if we don't go to those services with an open heart, then we're not doing anything to help ourselves, right? So let us look for those opportunities, the smallest opportunities. Yes, it's an exercise. Let us do this exercise this week. And as Emmanuel says, when we do this exercise of small gestures of goodness, this will be seen in heaven as an offering of love addressed directly to Jesus. How beautiful. Okay, friends, so let us then prepare ourselves for our prayer. We invite everyone to close their eyes, feeling the presence of our dear Master Jesus right by our side. He knows us like no one else. Yes, He do know us by name. And He follow each of our footsteps. Dear Master Jesus, thank you for allowing us to be in these moments of prayer tonight, connected with one another. And in the next week, Master Jesus, help us see the small gestures of goodness that we can perform in our day-to-day lives, at home, at work, in our communities and neighborhoods, in our spiritual centers. Let us be open to this call to attend to the good always, because we know, Master Jesus, that good is all that is, and what we call evil is only temporarily the absence of good. Master Jesus, we pray for everyone in the circle of prayer, that they can receive a loving hug from you, whispering in their ears that they are loved, they are a child of God, and they were created for happiness. Master Jesus, we pray for everyone in our families, groups of friends, acquaintances who need a helping hand, prayer, support. We pray for those, Master Jesus, in these cold days in the United States who don't have a home, who rely on the goodness of others to open shelters, their homes, charity organizations to give them a plate of food, a warm drink. We pray, Master Jesus, that they can receive the warmth of your hug. We pray for those who are in hospitals, nursing homes, prisons of all sorts. We pray for those that had to leave their homes to seek refuge and help somewhere else. We pray that they can find a helping hand. And through the small gestures of kindness, they can feel your presence. Grateful, Master Jesus, for these moments of prayer, we ask your permission to close these prayerful moments of tonight. And so be it. Dear friends, what a blessing to be here. We feel the love. Yes, Master Jesus is our master and he loves us infinitely. Let us never doubt it. We hope you have a beautiful day, a beautiful evening, whenever you are. Let us stay connected in this currency of the good throughout this week, friends. And we'll see you here soon for another prayer for peace. But in the meantime, stay connected here at Kardec Radio, where we're always nourishing our souls. Bye bye.